Hey guys, so I want to do a little review on my 2017 Jaguar F-Pace S. I've owned the car for almost 3 years now. It's a 3-year lease, so I'll be giving the car in this spring, early spring. And let's start with the positives. The car has a beautiful interior, the seats are very comfortable, it's got plenty of power. The supercharged V6 with a ZF 8-speed transmission really make this car a lot of fun to drive. I think it's a really good match on this platform. If you guys don't know, the F-Pace S is it's pretty light. It's a very light mid-sized SUV, or whatever you want to call it, a crossover or mid-sized SUV. So it's a lot of fun. 380 horsepower. I removed the engine cover. You get a little extra supercharger whine. So I'm driving the car in dynamic. If you have bad roads or roads with potholes, when you drive it in dynamic, you do not want to have the suspension in dynamic mode. This car gets very stiff. I find that the car is much too stiff of a ride, especially with the 22-inch wheels. I have the 20-inch wheels. The two options I did not get when I ordered the car was the optional infotainment and the 22-inch wheels. I didn't think they were worth the $4,000. Now, the issue with this car, when you do not order the 22-inch wheels, is the profile of the 20-inch tire, I believe, is 55. So you get a lot of sidewall roll because of such a stiff suspension. So it's really a catch-22. I think that Jaguar, they made a mistake with the stiffness of the suspension. They should have, I think, provided a 22-inch wheel for, I think, a better price at this price point when you buy this car, with a slightly smoother suspension. I would tell you this rides in dynamic as stiff as my F-Type R does in normal driving mode, if not a bit stiffer. And that causes another issue. This car, I feel the build quality is not there. So let's get into the negatives. The positives: beautiful car. The exterior is a sexy design. The interior is quite nice. I love the seats. They're nice and firm. They hold you into place. It's a beautiful car. I love the design inside and out. But the negatives are build quality. I find the build quality on this car to be very poor. There are so many rattles and squeaks in this car after 44,000 kilometers in nearly 3 years. I honestly can't wait to give back this car. It's, I think, unacceptable, for a $70,000+ car in Canada. My wife has a Q5, much better build quality, no rattles, no squeaks. The car's already a year old, and it's a much better car in terms of build quality, and a lot more comfortable as a daily driving car. I don't know if you can hear it, but when I go over bumps, there are just a whole bunch of rattles and looseness inside of this car. So I find that unfortunate. Jaguar, if you improve on the build quality, maybe, or I was one of the first people to get this car delivered. Maybe a first-year car, who knows? Maybe they got better. I'm just saying my experience with this car. You got to improve the build quality if you haven't already. So there's that. There's the stiffness. Couple little parts and issues with the car since I've got it. The trunk lid of the car, believe it or not, loosened up, and I couldn't open my trunk, and that happened within the first few months of ownership. I find that very strange. The bolts loosened up. You know, it was just a little bit of Loctite would have obviously avoided that issue. And when the trunk kind of got stuck closed, well, to open it, it scratched you know, some plastic trim, this and that, so the dealer had to kind of replace quite a few bits and pieces. Couple of, you know, strange warning lights, things of that nature. It's a Jaguar. I'm used to it. I'm used to Range Rovers. We have a Range Rover Supercharge, a 2019, has computer issues. It's okay. They're such beautiful cars that, you know what, I kind of just, you know, if it's only the computer, I don't mind going into the dealer, you know, 2 more times a year than I have to. Luckily, it's 10 minutes away from where I live, so it's not that bad. But build quality, computer issues, you know, little glitches kind of make the car, all its little quirks and rattles and this kind of just remove from the driving enjoyment that you get out of it. Because on a smooth road, the car's a lot of fun. You know, you put it into sport mode, it shifts. I don't know what this Toyota driver is doing. He's gonna smash into me. I guess that'll get me to bring the car in. Oh, he's texting. He's on his phone. Great, on the highway. Where was I? Yeah, so now we're in traffic. I would have liked to accelerate and show you guys a little bit. The car just great, you know, lightning fast shifting for a single clutch transmission. I think the ZF transmission is a great transmission. Probably the best automatic transmission there is. You have to go to dual clutch, I think, to get a better shift, obviously, than a ZF. But oh, is it opening up a bit? If it picks up on the supercharger line, this car sounds great. Car sounds great. It's got plenty of power. It holds in the RPM range in sport mode with dynamic selected. It's a really fun car. It's a beautiful car. You know, it's a black car, all black exterior, black wheels. It's just a sleek looking car, and believe it or not, it gets a lot of looks. People it's a bit of a head turner. You know, if they improve on the build quality, if they fix their little computer issues, I think they're great value. I think they're absolutely great value. I don't think I'd buy anything else. I really enjoy Jaguar products, Land Rover products. I think that's what's maybe keeping a lot of people away from the brand, you know, in general. Whether it's a sedan, their SUV, their sports car, I think there's always that reputation of, yeah, my car's great, but it's got all these little quirks. I think that's what keeps people who've never owned it away from the brand. You know, but my F-Type R, it's been a pleasure. It's been perfect. Only had to replace an O2 sensor. That's it. No squeaks, no rattles. Really well built. I think that's a great value sports car. I absolutely love my F-Type R. I drive it more than any other car in the garage. It's just enjoyable, you know. And when you want it to be comfortable, it actually is very comfortable. It goes over bumps, etc. Very well. Try to avoid them, obviously, but it's just a pleasure to drive. Would I buy this SUV again? No, I wouldn't. I find that, you know, for 10, 15,000 more, a BMW X5 or an Audi Q7 or Q8 are just a lot better value. I think that after people have owned it, it's not something that I think a lot of people would buy again. You know, now this is just my opinion. I don't know the statistics or whatnot, but I just think there are a lot of great alternatives for a little bit more money, or even the same amount of money. What is going on here? Do people just cross diagonally? And I don't know. Anyways, guys, I thought I would just share my you know, my positives and negatives on this car. You know, it's still nice out here. I will be giving the car back soon, so I thought, well, before I give it back, I would just share that with you and let you guys know my experience with the car. So thank you for tuning in, and I will be sure, now that I have a little more time on my hands on weekends, to be posting in-car, you know, driving videos with the 4x4 squared and the Aventador.